Maximize our time, we're going to talk about how you get access to the portal. Again, this should be a refresher for many of you. You would go to http://oecn.org. And then once there, you're going to click on the Secure Access button. That's going to pull up a window and allow you to enter your Active Directory information. So the account that's associated with your Active Directory username and password, that's what you would use to log in. And then once you've logged into that space, you can actually use a direct link by going to oecn.org/service. That'll bring you to the landing page directly. So coming to the portal page, you're going to see a menu. This blue bar contains a few items that we want to highlight here. The very first one is connect to a help desk. That's going to allow access options for the main menu via a drop down. So these buttons here in the center of the page allow you to go right to the ODE EMIS section. You can also access that with this drop down caret as well. In addition to that, you see service status. This provides the status of management council services and system servers from the MC data center. So this is going to tell you the status of those servers and services. I actually have this link on my phone. It allows me to, if I am trying to log in and I'm not able to, I'm able to kind of go to that link and see what the status of that particular system is, whether it's down or up. And so it makes it very easy to view that information. So that's just a little tip for you there. In addition, we have the community space. This is the Management Council resource space. And lastly, we have the self-service. This is the space you would go to reset or update your Active Directory passwords. To the right here, this section where we have this sub menu here, we'd call this a hamburger menu, if you will. Clicking that will open up this window once you're logged in, obviously, and then you can come to this landing page by selecting MC Service Portal. So that's going to bring you to this landing page here. Once there, as I mentioned before, there are two options for going directly to ODE EMIS. You can click this large button once you're on the landing page, or you can click on the drop-down caret and select ODE EMIS. Once you're there, click on ODE EMIS. If there are existing cases, this is what you would see. In the past, we called support request tickets, and now in this new system, they're called cases. A ticket or a case, it's the same item, just a different name for this particular system that we're working in now. If you have existing cases, they would appear in the grid once you select ODE EMIS. In that grid, you'll find the following items across the top here. You'll see a case number, the subject, you'll find description, priority, the status, service area, contact name, and creation date. These are the items that are displayed once you come to the landing page for ODE EMIS. You'll also notice across the top here in the blue bar, there are filters. The first filter is a filter to view items that are opened, cases that are opened, cases that are closed, or you can view all cases, and you can select that filter and change the view of that. Next, we have the type. Here we can view my cases. So cases that are specific to you as the individual. You can view account cases, and those are cases associated with your ITC. Or you can view ITC share cases. And share cases allows you to view cases that ODE has set as viewable by all ITCs. So those are special cases that are viewable by all ITCs, and those are set by ODE. And then lastly, here across the top, you see new and old, if you will. So here you're able to set what the sorting order will be based upon what is viewed in the grid. I want to highlight something here with regards to the ITC share cases. With the shared cases, you're able to do some searching on those cases to find specific items. This is a full text search, keyword search across all the fields. So for instance, if I search by a specific ITC, it's going to look for that ITC across all of these. So again, it's a full text keyword search across all the fields. And once that grid appears, then the filters that I mentioned previously are actionable against the grid. So if I'm looking at this particular grid based upon that search, then I can search for all cases. I can search for open or closed cases, sort by new and ODE. So anything that shows up in this grid after search results are yielded can be filtered based upon that viewable grid. When you click on either this green button or this new case button, you get a new window. In that window, you have some options and some information that needs to be entered. The first is the case subject, titling what you want that case to be known by, and then description. You're going to enter information there that will allow the support team enough insight into the development to know what's going on in order to provide you with some sort of response. The name, company, email, and phone should autofill based upon your location and your information. It should autofill. If you've logged in, you'll be able to see that information. In addition to that, over to the right, you'll see actions. And here there are two options, two drop-down options. There's a service area that you'll need to select, and then the specific district that you're working with. You'll need to select that for the case. Once that information is entered, you will click on Create Case. When the case is created, you'll get a confirmation screen, and along with that, you'll see a new case number assigned to that case. You'll also see information here on the right, which is the case details that was entered before. You'll see the status has been created, which is new, and the priority, as well as your location information here. Under this section, contact details should be auto-filled, but you can confirm and check that information there. So to add a comment, you simply click on Add a Comment, and this dialog box will show up. In that dialog box, it's important to remember that that's going to be plain text formatting. So for instance, if I wanted to add a link in that section, it's not going to format. Or if I'm trying to bold something or italicize something, it's only plain text information that can be entered into this field. Once I enter my information, I just simply click Post Comment, and then the comment's added to the case. Comments can only be added to a case after that case has been created. The same is true for attachments. So once I have a case created, I can add an attachment to that case. It could be a screenshot, or it could be a document. I can add something to that case. I can choose a file. Keep in mind that that file has a maximum size of 25 megabytes. Once I select my file, I can click on Attach, and that file then is added to the case. Please note that once a file is added, it is viewable or downloaded in your browser, depending upon what your browser settings. So here you can see there's a link that's been added. The attachment's been added here already. It will show up as a link, and that's clickable. And again, depending upon your browser settings, it's either downloaded or it's viewable in your browser. So once I submitted my information, I'm looking for some sort of response from the support team. This is what would appear. I can see now that I have a change in my status. So I'm able to go in and refresh the browser. I can see if that information's been updated. I would see a change in status. Now it's gone from new to in progress. And I can also tell if the information has been put on hold. So again, I'm looking in the status section to see what the state of my case is. Once I see that that's changed, I can click on the case number to go in to see what kind of response has been provided to me. So here I can see again that the status has changed to in progress, and I can see some comments have been added here by the support team. The comments will show up in chronological order with the most recent on top. So this is my comment that I initially submitted. I see that the response team has added a comment here, and I can see that that's on top of the comment that I've added previously. So once that case has been taken care of, or there's no more information, or let's say, for instance, you were able to get a solution yourself, you can go in and close that case. And to do that, you would simply click the Close Case button down at the bottom of the screen, and a dialog window will open up. You are required to enter your final case comments. So in this example, let's say, for instance, I submitted a question that I needed a response to. I was able to solve the problem myself, or work with the district and come up with a solution myself. So I would just simply go in, click Close Case, and enter that information here, able to resolve situation with district, and then click Submit Close Case Comments. Once that happens, the case is closed. There is an option to reopen the case once you do close a case. Let's say something else comes up, or the problem actually wasn't resolved. You can go in by opening the case again and submitting that back to the support team. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on Secure Access. I've already logged in, so it will bypass the username and password screen. Clicking on Secure Access will bring me here. As I mentioned before, I can either use the direct link by going /service, or I can just click on the hamburger menu and go to MC Service Portal. And that brings me to this landing page. As I mentioned, I can go to ODE EMIS by clicking on this large button here in the center, or I can click on the drop down and select ODE EMIS from there. And I can see here that I have a case. I can take a look at closed cases. And I can see here that several cases show up. I can look at open cases, or I can view all cases. So it's going to show a combination of open and closed cases. Right now, we're only looking at my cases. If I wanted, I could take a look at all the cases associated with my ITC. So I'm looking at all cases, whether they're open or closed, associated with my ITC. And you see there are several pages of that. There's pagination that happens here at the bottom. I can scroll through those pages. Or I can look at the cases that, again, are allowable or viewable based upon ODE's permissions. And I can view those cases here. And I can kind of scroll through the pages here and see. As I mentioned before, I can search. So let's say I'm going to search for Sue. And so any case with the word Sue in it will appear. I'm going to look for a specific Sue. And so now only those cases appear, again, across all the fields that's searchable. So we'll clear that search. We'll go back to my cases. And we'll look at only the open cases. And here's my test case. If I can see the status was changed. And as you can see here, we've gotten some feedback. So you can see here the comments are provided in sequential order with the most recent on top. As I mentioned before, if we want to add an attachment to this, I can click on Choose File, and I can click Upload and Attach File. I get a confirmation that the file was attached, and I can look here and see in the list that the file was attached. And I'm going to go back to a landing page here, and let's say I want to create a new case. So I'll just click this button. Here under Actions, after you've given the case a title, after you've provided some description of the challenge or issue that you're having, you would select a service area. So it might be student data, could be reports. So whatever that service area is, you're going to select that service area, and then you're going to select a case reason. And the case reason is based upon the service area that you select. So for instance, I selected reports. I get different options for my case reasons. If I were to select assessment data, I'm going to see different options. So after you select the service area, you'll need to select a case reason and then select the district that you're working with. Then click Create Case. Now that my case has been resolved, all the issues have been taken care of, I can come here and close case. If the support team hasn't closed the case, that case is resolved, the support team can close the case, and you would see that status change in the grid as well. Also, if you resolve the case yourself, you can close the case. If you don't need it to be open anymore, you have the option to go in and click on Close Case, but you are required to enter the final case comments. So once I've done that, I can click Submit Comments. And now the case is closed. The status has changed. If for some reason I need to reopen the case, I can click Reopen here, and it will reopen that case.